This video is on naming sulfur and phosphorus based compounds in organic chemistry. This video is more of a side note as you are not expected to name these compounds fully, but you should be able to recognize them when you see them. Beginning with sulfur, as sulfur is below oxygen on the periodic table, pretty much all the naming of alcohols goes with sulfur. So if we replace the oxygen of an alcohol with sulfur, it becomes a thiol, such as ethane thiol. Now in reality, you just need to know what thiols are, and therefore when someone gives you a name with thiol in it, you just know that you're going to be replacing an oxygen with a sulfur, but it's just an alcohol, so to speak. Another oxygen functional group is ether. Well, if it's a sulfur instead of an oxygen, it is a sulfide. You also name them just like you would with ethers. So this here is diethyl sulfide. If we oxidize the sulfide once to give it a double bond oxygen to it, it becomes a sulfoxide. If we have two oxygens on it, it is a sulfone. Know the difference between a sulfoxide and sulfone. Another sulfur-based compound you are all familiar with is sulfuric acid. Well, it turns out if we replace one of the hydroxy groups of sulfuric acid with an organic motif, they become sulfonic acids. And once we have this sulfonic acid, notice that it's named kind of like a carboxylic acid. Well, it turns out if we modify the sulfonic acids, the same nomenclature applies as with carboxylic acid derivatives. So for example, this would be methane sulfonyl chloride, and this would be methyl ethane sulfonate. But once again, don't worry about them. You do not need to name these guys, just recognize them. Organophosphorus compounds are actually pretty common, but you, for now, only need to recognize phosphine, PPh₃. There's no carbon in it, so technically this is not an organic compound, but it is the base structure of all phosphorus-centered structures. So for example, this compound here is triethylphosphine. So what do you think this compound is? You are correct, it's triphenylphosphine. No, triphenylphosphine, shortened as PPh₃, it is very common in organic synthesis.